Today is the first time I have ever towed with the Lexus GX 460, and while we're having fun with this Honda Talon 1000R, I wanted to just do a quick video on what it's like towing with this thing. So I went to U-Haul, they hooked up the trailer, everything's all put together, strapped down. We're using the tire straps up front, and we've got two ratchet straps to the chassis in the rear. This is about 3,800 pounds altogether between the trailer and the side-by-side, so not a hugely heavy load. The Lexus has a 6,500 pound tow rating, it does have the tow package. Let's see how it does. I've done about 150 miles so far. We've been averaging about 13.2, 13.3 miles to the gallon. I've been going about 65 miles an hour the whole way. Still have plenty of power. Getting onto the highway here.
Go straight on for 6 minutes to exit 1B, US 31 North, Whiskey Eagle, Lovington.
Towing with a Lexus on the highway has been pretty easy and pretty uneventful. It's got plenty of power. Doesn't feel like I've really got much sitting behind me. There's a little bit of downshifting up hills occasionally, but for the most part, I've just been cruising in 6th gear, been leaving it in sport just so that I can have a little bit more manual control over what gear I'm in. I've mostly been driving without cruise control. Cruise control on the GX has always been a little bit irritating up and down hills, and when you're towing, it just kind of enhances that. It's always downshifting. It's never quite figuring out what gear it needs to be in, and once you hit a steep incline, it'll downshift too much too late. So I'll either leave it in cruise control on flat land, and when I see a hill, I'll just kind of give it a little bit of gas to get up to speed before I hit the hill, or I'll just disable cruise control and take over. But 65, 70 miles an hour, no problems. This trailer has trailer brakes, and that's helpful, of course. But otherwise,
turn right onto North 56th Avenue.
After replacing the rear calipers, pads, and rotors, the Lexus's brakes feel quite good in standard form. No complaints there. I'm actually pretty impressed at the gas mileage. We've averaged over 13 the whole trip. I just reset after a refuel about 20 miles ago. But 13.2 miles to the gallon is not shabby.
Left onto West Clear Road.
I also just got the Lexus Crown rust-proofed, so it smells like the oil dripping on the exhaust, and that'll drip for about a week or two, and then it'll calm down until you get a really hot day, then it'll drip some more. But it's just doing its job, keeping the Lexus from rusting to bits. I usually get a Crown rust-proofing treatment about once a year during this time. I remove the spare tire, take it to Crown, have them do their thing, and then I'll take the wheels off, touch up a little bit on the suspension components in areas that are difficult to get to, rotate the tires, and that does it. That's pretty much the extent of winter prep with the GX. Hopefully we get some snow this year so we can have a little bit of fun on these Cooper AT3Ws. I will say, of all the vehicles that I have owned, this GX is one of my favorite. It's just so versatile, so usable, such an enjoyable vehicle to drive on long trips and day to day. It's not too big, it's not too small, it's just kind of this perfect blend of capability, comfort. The only downside really is the fuel economy, but once you kind of get used to it, it's not a big deal. If I didn't have as many press cars to drive, I definitely would want to complement with this with like a hybrid or electric car for most city around town driving use. But yeah, it's a pretty amazing all-rounder. I've thought about selling it on occasion, but whenever I do, I'm kind of stumped for what I would get next that would replace this. For the price, there's really nothing else that I would be able to get that would do the job that this does. And if we're going to be getting into driving side-by-sides and hauling some toys around, definitely going to want to hold on to something like this and not downgrade to like a smaller crossover or something like that. Well, we're almost to the dunes. We're getting close. All the trucks around here have flag mounts on them. I'm going to have to go buy another flag for our second Talon, but yeah, we're getting there. I'm excited. I think that'll pretty much wrap up the towing video on the GX. Pretty straightforward. Does a great job as you'd expect. Alright guys, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.
Turn left onto Ridge Road. In 0.2 miles.
Still love the way this V8 sounds.